There we go. All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, Slithix. Nice to see you. My name is Dagenham. I go by Dagenham Lol on Twitch. I'm currently on the Clutter of Cats channel on Twitch, which you're either watching live or the link is hopefully in the description of the video if you're watching it on YouTube. And I'm working on a Twitch bot, and I'm programming it in Java. I'm using a library called PircBot, P-I-R-C, specifically meant for IRC bots, but Twitch runs off of an IRC server, so all of the chat goes through there. So two of them work together pretty well. Oh my. No, she can keep that toy. It's fine. One of our cats decided that now is the perfect time to play with one of those balls in a track and whack it back and forth. She might have gotten tired of it already. Yeah. Oh no. She loves that thing. All right. So I think the main goal for today is to set up a thread that will at least get started on the thread that will increment people's points based on how long they have been watching. The idea is to run it once a minute, at least at the moment. The idea is to run it once a minute and increment their points by an appropriate number depending on how many points per minute or however many minutes that the streamer wants. All of this, of course, will be modifiable once better settings go in. They aren't ready yet. She's going nuts on that thing. Anyway, so yeah, that's the goal of today, is to get that set up, or at least get it started. I don't know if we're going to get it completed in time. I've been a little fuzzy-headed all day. Long day at work, so we'll see how far we get. But that is the plan. If we don't finish it today, we'll finish it on Saturday. Saturday, assuming... Oh, I'm forgetting something. My niece has a birthday party on Saturday. I will not be on. It is November 1st, I believe. November 1st. I'm not going to be on. I think we're free on Friday. If we are, I'll try and do at least an hour on Friday night, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I still work. But the Saturday stream is unfortunately out of the question. Well, somewhat unfortunately. I'm not going to ignore family liabilities to stream programming, as much fun as this can be. And as much as I like seeing people in here and getting to interact with everybody, niece comes first. Sorry. So anyway, today, working on a thread to increment points. And I also wanted to go through this. I wrote some notes here last Wednesday, about how to do these message priorities. This is basically all done. So let's just update these. I mean, I should really be doing this every day. Today's the 29th. Yep. So message priorities. I still need to do that. I haven't gotten to that yet. So, but the username plus points, that works. Prints out the top message, so it can remove that, and then it removes the top message. All of that functions. As long as the bot is active, it can take in, as far as I can tell at least, it can take in as many requests as people want to throw at it, and then it prints them out 5 at a time. That was working as of Saturday, which would have been the 25th. Which should have been the previous video since I missed Monday. So anyway, here was a sample vector. I don't need that anymore. This is all set up at this point. Yeah. So all I need to do now with the rest of this messaging system is to make sure that, give her a second to play with that, is to make sure that any messages from the bot, like, raffle being opened, the example here, or the custom messages we have, I don't know, whatever else we add into it, the bot's messages get top priority, so they get added to the first of that vector instead of the people's points. Because as nice as it is for people to get how many points they have, it's still secondary to actual functions of the bot. When it comes down to it, you don't need to know your points every 5 minutes. So if you have to wait, I'm sorry, but you have to wait. So anyway, we'll leave that message up. Oh, so okay, that was the new vector to track the message queue. That's right above that note. So here's the main part of where we're going to be working today. Add a scheduled thread to add and update viewer vector once per minute. So the reason I'm thinking once per minute, and I'll explain the two trains of thought on this. My thought is to do once per minute. And the other thought is to do it once per however many minutes to keep the points whole. So if I'm doing 1 point per minute, then it makes sense to check it once per minute and increment everybody. If I'm doing 1 point per 5 minutes, it would make sense to only check once every 5 minutes and add 1 point at that point. If you're doing 1 point per 10 minutes, then it would only check once per 10 minutes and it would add the full point. So that has... I like both of those for different reasons. I like the one that checks for every minute because points, at least at the moment, are tracked in doubles. So it can track a fraction of a point. So if someone can only come in for 2 or 3 minutes and you're tracking 1 point per 10 minutes, they get nothing. If it's with the second method. First method, they would still get that 3/10 of a point. It's minor, I know, and it can be an option later once I get the interface going a little more. I'm planning on doing some fine tuning with this, and I'm thinking I'll have the option to either do either or. So you can do a once per minute scan that does fractions, or you can do a once per X minutes scan, and you can then could even then simulate getting 1 point per minute, because you could say 10 points in 10 minutes. It would only scan once every 10 minutes, but anybody that's there, 10 points. That's my thought. For now, we're doing it the simple way. It's going to check once per minute. It's just going to increment everybody, and then by the points value, which is going to be 1 for now. Then it's going to move on. So, all right. So this is the one that I'll work on this time. Add a scheduled thread to back up points values in case of a crash. That's going to be next time. What else did I do here? Add users to... Oh, yeah, that was my other thought too. And maybe this is actually a better place to start. So I was looking at my on message, and I realized that if somebody who is not in the list, is not in the viewer list, requests how many points they have, the bot won't know how to respond. Like if you look here, it'll try to, okay, so here it'll make a temporary viewer. It'll try to get the index of that viewer, which is going to come back as -1 if they don't exist. And then it's going to try and run some things on them. It's going to try and get their points anyway, which of course they don't exist. Excuse me. So that'll cause an error. We didn't get to see that because I don't have enough viewers here. Funny problem to have. So it's something that will at some point come up. And so my thought, at least, is to run a check. And anytime a message is received, it checks to see if the user is in the list at all. And if they aren't in the list, add them. It's the easiest method I can think of. That way they are always in that list. You don't have to worry about them, they're there. So, what I'm thinking is, this is a function. And then that function can be called, well, probably doesn't have to be a function now that I'm really thinking about it. I can do this index of, like basically do this same function here. But if temp index comes back as -1, it adds the user to the list instead. And that can just be up here. And that doesn't have to be a function. Oh, I guess it could be. Public void add user? It's not used, right? Initialize users. Get. No, it's not used. Add users, which is going to be a Twitch viewer, temp viewer. All right. Or should I just pass it? Let me just pass the string. Instead of passing it the Twitch viewer, I'm just going to pass it the name. That way I don't have to convert it to a viewer when I receive it. I can just pass it the sender from the on message call. All right. I'm going to do this. Instead of sender, it's going to be temp viewer. And then this should be really easy, actually. This should just be if temp index equals -1. Ahead of myself, too many character turns. Then let me just find this at, here it is. So let's call them a T viewer. Oops. Okay. So, pretty simple little guy here. You can pass it a string, and if it detects that the user is not part of the list, just these two lines here, it adds them. If they are, it doesn't do anything. And that could turn this into something else, but I think this is fine as it is, in all honesty. So now here, all I have to do is this dot add user sender. And now whenever on message is called, which is any time a message is detected in the channel, it should fire this little function here, to then add them to the list, which is good because I need that for this section here. Other things as well. All right. Now I can also use this in my update user function, which has to be a class. I'm thinking of making another class similar to bot messenger. It's going to be a function of the bot, so it's going to be bot user check. Bot user tracking. I don't like that one because that's what it's doing. It's tracking users. Also, it sounds a little sinister, but not the case in this case. Put it over here for now. Oh, all right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy all of this. I'm going to paste it here. So I just took my other thread, which I'm going to need, and I'm going to just delete everything out of this. And I'm going to copy this stuff. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to cut that stuff. Place all this stuff. Lots of stuff. All right, let's get rid of that. And I need this. There we go. We've just cannibalized that class and updated it to here. Okay, so this is the basic of what you need in order to create a thread that runs simultaneous to your program, but outside of it can affect things within it. Okay, so let's save that. Let's see what the arrows do. Ooh, didn't. There it goes. All right. So you can see it got an arrow to helper bot. Right? That one there. Because when this thread gets called, it's going to get called with a reference to the actual bot itself. And that's going to allow me to run functions on it, get data from it, then modify data in it too. And a quick question here from Cakes and Cocaine. What are you programming? I am programming a Twitch bot in Java that's going to, its main function is it's a loyalty bot, so it'll track how much people watch a channel and give them points, which they can then use on raffles or gambling or something along those lines. Oh, I forgot to put that in my title, didn't I? All right, that should pop up in a second. I forgot the Twitch bot part. But yeah, its main functionality is that it's a loyalty bot. Helps streamers keep track of who's watching the channel more and give them the benefits of extra tickets. But I'm trying to, and so I'm trying to explain this as in-depth as possible. I'm trying to walk through this as though the people I'm watching don't know Java at all. So that's going to be a turnoff for some people, and I understand. But I'm hoping that I can help people out and help get them, get their foot in the door of programming at least, if this is something that they're actually interested in. So I should be able to show people enough to get into this kind of thing if that's what they want. Part of my goal here. So I hope you like it. I hope you stay. If you don't, again, I totally understand. There's plenty of programmers that can zip through code and show you how awesome they are. I'm trying to talk through this to help myself out and to help anybody out that's interested in it. All right, so let's update that. Oh, hey, Elite Unit. Nice to see you. You haven't missed a whole ton. I've started the thread to track users, which is here. And but to do it, I just kind of cannibalized the other thread that I've got. All right, so bot user tracking. This is good. Now, let's actually instantiate it here and get our new set of arrows. All right, so just like that thread, I need this one. Except instead of bot messenger, it's going to be bot user tracking. I'm going to leave the 6 seconds because I kind of like the idea of it waiting 6 seconds to start. However, instead of 10,000, I'm going to bump that up to 60,000. That should be 60 seconds. I might actually bump that down to like 59,999 just to see if, just to try and prevent anything from, from causing timing issues. So a couple more comments here. Elite Unit is reformatting his computer. I hope everything's going all right. That's always a pain in the neck, getting everything back the way you had it before. But C# and Query, nice. C#, from what I know, is a good language to learn. I'm not totally familiar with it. It's but yeah, I think it's kind of similar to Java. It's kind of similar in between Java and C++, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and Cakes and Cocaine is working on C++. That is a good language to learn. It has a lot of similarities to Java, which is what I'm doing. It's got some differences too. The two aren't entirely alike, but they share a lot of common themes, I guess I should say. Like they both have inheritance, which is really big between classes, which I can speak about if you're curious. And also if you have any specific questions, I mean, I shouldn't say specific, but if you have any questions about programming in general, or any specific problems you're having, I can show you I can help you research it. Can't necessarily have the answer right off the top of my head, but yeah, Java, C, C++, C Sharp, they're all very similar languages. Yeah, lots of C's. And for those of you that didn't know, there originally was a programming language called A, and was there a B? There might have been a B very briefly, and then they came out with C, which of course we still use today. And then they came out with C++, which was a slight modification to C. It allowed you to do a couple things a little easier, including, but not limited to, obviously, being able to put a number variable and then plus, and it would automatically add 1 instead of having to do plus equals 1 or x equals x plus 1, like that. I would so love to have many streamers like you teaching lots of languages, and will happily watch them all. I appreciate that. I really do. I'm doing my best. Part of the reason I'm talking through it this slow too, to anybody who's not familiar, is I don't know this all that well. I've gotten a little better at it since starting, and I could probably go a little faster than I am at the moment. But at the same time, I kind of like keeping this a nice even pace, taking it slow and making sure I'm doing everything right. I think that helps prevent me from making more errors, which is always a pain in the neck to work through. But I'm not under any time constraints other than not being able to stay up all night. This isn't a project that's due at any point, so I can take my time with it. I wanted to make an operating system with C. Well, if you're going to make an operating system, that's the language to do it with. But in all honesty, best of luck to you, because that is an incredible amount of work. I mean, obviously it's doable because, what is it? Linux and Unix are both written in C. So it's obviously doable. If I'm not mistaken, Windows and I'm pretty sure even, yeah, of course, the Mac operating system, they're all written in C as well. C is a very powerful language. It gives you access to everything behind the computer. It's really, it's good. It's really good, but of course, it also comes with its own problems. You need to know how to do everything in it. It has very little that it'll do for you. But well, thank you for following Cakes and Cocaine. It should pop up in a second. It hasn't yet. It can be a little delayed. It can also, unfortunately, break, but I really do appreciate that, and I hope to see you around. I really do. And also, if you guys are curious, we do have a Twitter account and a YouTube account. They're both linked in our profile. This isn't an account I share with Signa, who currently isn't streaming anything. I'm trying to convince her to do some of her games. She does. She loves playing retro games, like from NES and Super NES. Make an OS for practice, and then you can code the world. That's true. That's the start. Okay, so this is done. It's right here. So this bot timer, which I think should be able to handle two things, now has these two threads that it's running. It waits 6 seconds for them both. That's the 6,000. It's in milliseconds. And then every 10 seconds, it prints messages. And every 60 seconds, every minute, it's going to increment users' points. Ooh, 64 Elite Unit got a 64 gigabyte stick for free. Congratulations, those are nice. It's amazing too. When I first went to college, we were still using floppy disks. The ones that were, I guess they were about that big, and hard plastic. 1.44 megabytes, and then It was like my second or third year. Hey, there it is. Cakes and Cocaine is now following. Thank you, man. And then by I think my second or third year, we finally started using USB sticks, assuming you weren't just submitting your work through the server anyway, which for all of our programming classes was common, but for like writing classes and everything, you could submit a USB stick. But yeah, floppies. I saw a few floppy disks in my time. Oh man, I'll never forget Windows 95. The first time I ever installed Windows 95 was off of, I think it was 13. That was it, 13 floppies. That's how big an operating system used to be. 13 floppies. That's, even unzipped, that's like 25 megabytes. So, go figure. And of course, when my parents were in college, you would program on, you wouldn't even program on a computer because they didn't have personal computers. You would program on plastic cards that you would punch out to represent the different things that you needed the program to do, which is all, what's that called? It's, crap. Getting the name of it. I forget, unfortunately, but you would have these cards, and each card would consist of punch-out points, and you would put in your commands based on number of the punch-out point number, which was all in binary, because each would be 0 or 1. And that would be the command. And so you could string them together and do whatever you needed to, but yeah, you had to make sure you numbered them. You could lose track of what it did. Crazy how easy it is now in comparison to that. It's gonna bug me. I can't remember the name of what that is for programming, but anyway, get my mind off of it. Okay, so this should run at every 60 seconds. I'm thinking I should just do a test. And just do a system.out.println, is that it? I'm not doing this every day, so I'm kind of forgetting the syntax behind it. System.out.println. I will remember that eventually. Incrementing points. And that'll just print out to the terminal. I do have one more side story, and then I'll share it, because it links into the cards. I don't think this happened to my parents. I think this happened to a friend of theirs. He went in to pick up his results from these punch-out cards. And I mean, your program would be a stack like this high. 20 or 30 cards. Goes in to pick up his cards and his results, because the two would be separate. And the guy behind the desk that would take the cards and put them into the machine and then turn them would give them back to you. So he goes to pick up his cards. Guy offers them across the table, and then when he goes to grab them, the guy goes like this, and cards go everywhere. And they are, it's all across the floor. So he's looking at the floor like this is his master's thesis or something like that. The guy's just looking at him going, "Oh man, I'm so sorry." Just kidding. And then he pulls out the real stack and puts it on the counter. The guy's ready to have a heart attack, and he decided to screw with him. So, I'm sure none of us can relate to that, but at the same time, it's I can't even imagine having to put up with that. That's just so insane. Okay. So this is just going to print out to the terminal. Dagonbot's going to say hi in the channel, and I'm just going to let him run. Oh, actually, when I close, does it close all the scheduled tasks, or does it have to do it per scheduled task? I wonder if that can take more than one. I don't know if it can actually schedule more than one thing. That might overwrite it. Like, I might need another timer, which means I should probably rename that one. Try it like this first. No harm done. Unless it errors. Oh, yeah, that's my mistake. Improper variable names. Yeah. All right, let's compile that. All right, let me now run this. Where's that? I think it did override it. I think I need more than one timer. All right, it's good to know. Where's that user and user added coming from? I need to see what that's doing because it's pretty clearly not adding everybody. User added. That's interesting. I think there's at least a couple of people here that aren't in the list and it's not adding them. All right, well, we'll look at that too. All right, so first things first. We need another timer. So let's do that. Let's name it bot user timer. And then let's rename bot timer. Oops. Wait. It's the only program I have that Control H doesn't find and replace. Control R. Yeah. Let's replace bot timer with bot message timer. Message timer. All. And this one instead gets put to bot user timer. So now, do the same thing. This one. All right. Just that, and then dot cancel. Just so I can use close to kind of negate the whole thing. Now, why isn't it doing this? It should be printing out every user, and it seems like it's not. So onUserList is a function that's built into PerkBot. What happens is when the bot connects to a channel, it takes a couple seconds, but after those couple seconds, it gets sent the user list after it joined. That user list is only coming back with, it's either only coming back with one, or it's possible something else is going on. So this should be the function. Let's start system dot out dot println users dot length. Let's just check that out while we're scanning all the rest of this. Also, let's set the Java virtual machine just to make sure it isn't running in the background. Probably was. Okay. File. Run. Yeah, only one. Interesting. Odd. All right, no messages found. Let's give it a message. Make sure this is still functioning. Oh, I shouldn't have set that to 60 yet because it's not it's not doing anything. Well, now it's really not doing it. Okay, it's receiving thing. Okay, there's the points. But my message thread has stopped. Odd. This as to why this is still only containing the one person, but that's not that big a deal. Let's what's the oh, that's nice. Is running. Threads must be stopped. Oh. Thread an init number, thread sequence. Huh. Something's going on. No messages found. Fermenting point. Found. All right, let's do a count to 10 here and see if this comes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Something is up. And I kind of suspect it has to do with these threads. It's possible that you can only have one timer per program. Yeah, because the points are still working. But it's interesting to me because these both work initially. Let me set it. Let me comment this one out. So now it's just a timer. And let me comment the whole thing out. Actually, while we're at it. Save it, file it. Vector unsafe operation. Then that. The message is found. Three. For some reason. New timer. Message. New timer. Timer.schedule. Bot messenger.this. What else did I do? I did this. Maybe that's causing a problem. Did I close it? I forget. Closed. That. Set it. That's still really weird to me. The message is found. Keep doing it. The message is found. Okay. Give that a couple seconds. Oh, there we go. Okay. Exception in thread. No such element. Messenger. Okay, so something's going on then. Let's take the messenger.java 32. Line 32. Line count. Give me a line count? Oh, come on. Oh, display line numbers. There we go. 32. Why isn't that working? No such element exception. Yeah, it's the call of a first element. Right here. It's really weird. So, okay. System.out.println TMP message. Oh, okay. I think I see what's going on. let me just, oops. See what this does. Okay. Timer 1. Not messenger, it's still in the first element. Okay. All right, I might not have tested this as fully as I should have last time. Expand this a little bit. Okay. So what I did, what all of this stuff does, is it tries to see if there's more than one person requesting. Can you be printing temp message before the exception so it actually reaches that first line of code? I did. The exception is here on line 33 now, and I printed it out up here. So, but in the long run, it doesn't make a difference because I do think I see what the problem is. If there's only one person requesting, if there's only one message in the queue, this pops that out and puts that into temp message. Also, good to see you again, Klugau. Klugau? Sorry. So anyway, to pop back to this. Doing a remove on a vector takes the first element of the vector and deletes it, or rather, in this case, the 0 element, which is the first element, deletes it and returns it as a string, or as its own type, which in this case is a string. And it puts it in a temp message, and that thankfully gets rid of it. So then I create this new string that contains the majority of that there, rather here. So I think what happened is when I tested this on Saturday, I was able to give it 2 messages at once, and so it wasn't going to error. But in this case, I think I need an if around this. If temp q dot size is greater than 0, do all this stuff. And I think this arose because I was in a little bit of a hurry, and I saw that I was getting it to work, and I forgot to do the extra check. So this will now. This will now only run if there's more than one if there's at least one element in the array. And this might fix the messaging problem. Oh, hey, no problem. Sorry that you have to go so soon, but it was good to see you. All right. I'll get this to go away. Let's see that right. All right, Dagenbot has rejoined the channel. No messages found. Points. Okay, good. That is working. Let me do this on both of them too. Let me give it 2 messages at the same time, just to make sure that this is in fact still working. Let's give it 3 if we can. Oh, yeah, elite unit. You aren't found in there because it's not receiving the user list properly. Hang on. Let me re-enable that function I added in today. This one here. And we'll test it with that, and then we can make sure it's working for you. So that should now add you to the array and allow it to print out the 0. So, question from Rip Squishy. What is the goal of this? I'm creating a Twitch bot that's going to be a loyalty bot, and it's going to allow for raffles and gambling. I'm hoping to get this into like a really nice interface and everything, so that, you know, I'm trying to make this a really helpful bot. Is really what it comes down to, and it's coming along. It's gotten a good distance. We're currently working on incrementing users' points for actually watching, which of course is a core part of all this, and then we can move on to more interesting things like storing files in JSON, storing files and reading files in JSON, and then I think after that we're actually going to work on interfaces, creating actual GUIs for graphical user interfaces for users to run this bot. That's the goal, in so many words. So where did my... All right. Okay, so even though for some reason this user list isn't returning all the users, I can show this real quick here. On user list is a built-in function to the PerkBot, and it's supposed to it's supposed to return 2 values, and that's the channel name, and this is supposed to be an array of users, but at the moment it's not. It's only returning an array of size 1. And I'm not positive as to why. Okay, and Rip Squishy, thank you. I appreciate you sticking around. I'm not going to get to interfaces today, obviously, because that's everything else I listed is going to take a good length of time. But I'm probably going to get to it within the next couple weeks. I realize that's a long time from now. But unfortunately, I can only stream a couple days a week to start with, and this has been, unfortunately, a bad week for streaming for me. On Monday, I was having internet issues. On Saturday, I have a family birthday party. So I'm kind of going through this slowly, which is not good if people want to learn an actual, very specific thing. But at the same time, when I do get to it, I'm going to go as in-depth to it as I possibly can. I mean, we're going to take it from step 1. We're going to go through the entire length. I'm even going to try and do things like adding in hotkeys. That's where I want to get this to. So I'm hoping we can get there within the month. But of course, now we have all the holidays coming up, so who knows for sure. But I do hope to push through this. I appreciate you not being in a hurry. I don't know that my soon-to-be 3-year-old niece would want you to be there. It's it's a family birthday party, but I do appreciate your interest. Okay. So this should fix it. So if you guys want to help me test this, I would appreciate that. I wanted to give it a couple seconds to make sure we don't time things out too. So now it should add people to that list. So now it should print out Elite Unit. Hey, check that out. We have it on stream. Elite Unit has 0 points, and now there it is. It printed it out. Of course, it's not storing you, so when it starts up the next time, you will continue to have 0 points. But we are actually getting somewhere with this. Now that it's displaying people's points and adding them to the queue, we can now work on actually upgrading people's points as time goes on, which is fantastic. So now that that's done, let me close it out. And actually, let's clear this too. And now let's re-enable this stuff. What I suspect was happening, and I have a decent amount of proof to reasonably suspect this, is that thread was erroring, and that's why it wasn't doing anything. Now that's working, we can actually try and have these both running at the same time. Which, of course, the second thread, unfortunately, doesn't do anything at the moment. It just prints out that it's doing. Oh, which also brings me to another point. I'm going to Instead of it running every 60 seconds, let's make it run every 11 seconds, just so we can actually let's run it every 5 seconds, just so we can make sure it's working. Don't have to wait the full minute to go, oh yeah, okay, there it is. All right, it's been close to a minute, so. Oops. I desperately need a new monitor because I suspect my current one is making my screen go black. All right, where is my terminal? All right, incrementing points. It's not actually incrementing points yet, but it's these are both pretty clearly both functioning, and they're functioning together. Gonna give it a test. Make sure that it'll, yep, that's still running. Points is running simultaneously. This is looking pretty good right now. I just want to see each of them pop up once more. Bang, okay, good. Points! I'll let that print out. That's interesting. Oh, because you requested it twice. Oh, okay. Rip Squishy just found a possible bug that I'll have to look into. I'm going to make a note of it for now. I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. But what I need to do is make sure not to add don't add points requests more than once. Good catch, Rip Squishy. I really appreciate that. Actually, I really do. I'm not being sarcastic at all in that. Usually a very sarcastic guy, but I really do appreciate that. Signa laughed at that. She knows. Okay, so we're going to get the points added. I want to grab another cup of coffee because I finished this one. I'll be back in a second. Okay. Am I that good at finding bugs? I don't know. I'm so practiced at it from having introduced so many bugs to my own programs that it just kind of, I don't want to say second nature, but you get the hang of it. You really do. And if nothing else, I got the way I got really good at it is well, I made a lot of mistakes, but you also start learning how to, like a fuzzy thing, whatever. How to find the bugs gets easier as you do it, because what happens is you start going, okay, I'm having a problem here. Let me print this out, this out, this out, this out. Just shove it all out into a terminal, and then you can kind of look at it and say, okay, it's reading this wrong. I have my index off by 1, something along those lines. There's a speck of dirt on this. camera. So once you start getting the hang of it and you start doing it a lot, which I've been doing it for on and off for 10 years. Oh no, actually longer. I've been programming since I was 15. So on and off for 17 years. You do get the hang of it. And you kind of get, once you know where your error is, you kind of get the idea and you can look at it and go, oh, yeah, I forgot to do this. Okay. Actually, it's just simplified. Don't add requests more than once. All right, we'll work on that later. That should be a pretty easy fix too. But okay. So bot user tracking. So this is actually where I'm going to start needing some things out of here. Element. Let's get rid of this. Start getting rid of some of this stuff too. Oh, you know, one thing I never managed. I never fully did. I don't think I ever fully worked on a method to loop through all the elements of a vector. I don't think I ever did that, which is something we now need to do, obviously. You know, I don't need any of this. Let's get rid of it. Oh, that stuff. All right, there we go. Cleaned that out. All right, so this. Why is viewer? Twitch viewer. Oh, huh. Right, no match case, no match case. Trying to get rid of that arrow. It should be gone, but it's not at the moment, so whatever. Because then I could do this jagged freaking arrow. Can I compile it? Arrow. I realize it's a little silly, but that arrow is kind of bugging me. But all right, maybe when I start this back up again, this time it'll be fixed. Okay, temp bot string. Need that. Okay. This dot the bot. So I'm a little worried about this for a second, and I want to talk about that for a second. I'm worried about this because as I'm looping through this vector of Twitch viewers, it might change in size. So I'm kind of debating how I want to do that. My thought is to do a for loop. For int I equal to 0. This dot the bots. How did I do that? A thread. Reference it. Bang. Bot me. No, that's not it. There it is. No? Alright. Here's our two threads. Because this one's the sending messages is easier because it takes whatever the first message is, gets it out of the queue, prints it. This needs to loop through the queue without deleting anything. We don't want users to disappear. So, obviously I can do... I think I should just do a reference here. I think do I have any... You know what? I don't think I did anything to return the viewers yet. And too many windows. All right, one more. All right, there we go. So now we have the main helper bot program here, our messenger one there, our user tracking here. So kind of, none of them are going to go over top of them. So I need this viewer list vector. So I probably just need to do this. Get viewer list. This is going to be dot viewer list. Right? Viewer list. Yes. Okay. Okay. So let me. Oops. All right. Get rid of this. Okay. Vector, if I can spell it, vector temp viewer list equals this dot the bot dot get viewer list, like that. Yeah, see, just like this. Okay. Now, because it's Java, it's not copying what's on this side and putting it into here, which is what we need. We need it to not copy. This needs to be a direct reference to this viewer list because I need to be able to modify what's in there without having to send it back. And this is, it's possible we might change how this works. What might end up happening is send it a copy, it overwrites it, and then it returns it. The function, maybe? Not positive. Maybe what it would do in this case is you take a copy of the viewer list, and this again, this is a secondary possible way of doing this. You take a copy of the user list, you modify that user list, and that way the current user list can be, it's fine, you ignore it. You make a copy of the user list, you modify that user list, you add all the points you need to add, and then at the end of it, instead of replacing it, you loop through your list and you update the actual list to whatever it needs to be. That might be a little cleaner in terms of memory usage because I think vectors aren't 100% thread safe. That might be a little safer. We'll have to see, and that'll come later when we're actually testing this for real on an actual stream. Which obviously we aren't yet. My little gathering here of fantastic people is we aren't in the long run we aren't enough to really slam it. But one of the things I did mention in the previous stream is I can put this bot into silent mode, get rid of all the prints, doesn't print out anything to the stream, and then kind of borrow somebody's stream. Go to somebody that has 1,000+ viewers and just see if it can handle reading in all of the messages from people and just kind of treat every message as a points request. Is my thought, at least. And then if it works, get permission from them first, of course. I wouldn't do this without asking. But then if it works, actually run a real raffle on their stream for $10 of something that's appropriate. All right. Anyway, we get back to this. So we have this reference to the viewer list. Okay, so int I. Let me just go through this. Then for loop. Not here. I do here. Always use old code. You'll find you only have to write things once, and that's not uncommon. So for start at 0, while I is less than temp viewer list dot size. Dot length is for array. Dot size, the function size is for vectors. It's weird. Okay. All makes sense. All right. In this case, I think I actually need to create a new Twitch viewer. Maybe? Yeah, this makes sense. Twitch viewer, temp viewer equals Twitch viewer temp viewer list dot get I. Think at least that sounds familiar. I'm again not 100% on Java vectors. Let me get a screen up with Java vector functions. Get there. I think turns the element specified position vector. Okay, that should be good. That should get me the viewer. Then, in case I didn't have enough windows open, shrink these. I pull up my Twitch viewers so I can actually see what the functions are. I don't need to get points. I don't need to get tickets. I need to add points. So temp viewer dot add points 1.0. All right. Yeah, like I don't know. Oh, I'm gonna need to write a function too to actually add every. That's the whole use. So at the moment, this is only going to print out people that have talked. But we'll work on that later on actually getting the user. This should, theoretically, go through everybody at one point to them. Oh, whoops. Vector, capital V, important kind. Close, close. Run it. Make sure that still works. All right, so hey, check that out. It incremented my points. Was 30, now it's 32. Every time it spits out incrementing points, it's giving me an extra point. Let's just keep doing that. 34, it's going up. Of course, this is doing it every 11 seconds instead of every minute. So, getting a lot of points. So elite unit, you'll come back with 0 initially, but if you check, even again, if you check it now, you'll have gained points because it's going up all the time. Of course, this is ridiculous as to how fast this is. Wouldn't think anyone would ever want to run it that much. Oh. I have to admit, elite unit put points clutter of cats 99999. That did freak me out. Oh, we got to follow. Rip Squishy, thank you for following. I don't know if that was delayed or not. But there you go, it's working. So now, I think thank you for helping test cakes. And you will come back with 0 that first time, because at the moment, what I need to do, and it doesn't do it yet, is every time it increments the points, it adds all users to the list that aren't currently in there. But it doesn't do that yet. It's it will, and that's going to be the next thing. And I think I'm going to do that on. Actually, I might try and stream on Friday if you guys are. Friday is Halloween. Here in America, we do celebrate Halloween. I might, if we aren't getting trick-or-treaters, how about that? Because I do live in a neighborhood with some kids. If we don't get trick-or-treaters around 6, I'll try and do some streaming. And if we do, actually, Signa can handle a door. Yep, she's going to be doing that during the day. Since I can't stream on Saturday, I think I am going to try and stream on Friday night. I don't believe we have any plans. I'm told we definitely don't have any. Oh, whoops, that is not what I meant to do. I meant to close it. So, I'm going to try and stream on Friday night. I don't know how long. I'll do at least the hour. But I think what I'm going to start with is... let's clear this. Reset the virtual machine. Okay. Bot user tracking. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on add users to list if not in the list. Because that's really important. It's not fair to people that they have to talk in order to get added to this the list of viewers. In my opinion. There are probably streamers that disagree with me. But I think that anybody in the list, when this bot checks for points, should get added to it. So we're going to work on that. You know what? Let's do a real quick thing. I want to look up. Oh, that's the wrong one. I want to look up this on user list. I'm going to do it on the stream real quick here. I'm going to see if there's something that I'm doing wrong with it. Perk bot on user list. On user list. Okay. This method is called when we receive a user list from the server after joining a channel. All right. I mean, maybe it's just not fully implemented. Maybe the way Twitch does it, it doesn't fully function. So what we'll do is we'll start working with get users. And that should allow us to loop through everybody in the list, I hope. If that doesn't work, I don't really know how else to do it. But yeah, I think what it looks like at least is that get users should be what we can do. And maybe that's what I have. That's just, let me reopen that. I don't understand why it's not doing what it says it does. It's possible that that's something Twitch has set up. Like it only sends you back your own name, which is silly, personally, I think. But this method is called when we receive a user list from the server after joining a channel. Oh, so that might just be something they set up. Because they might not want, in fact, that makes sense that it wouldn't, because they might not want you to create a bot that just goes through and joins every channel and then receives a ton of information on who's in what channel. But at the same time, I do need it. If I can't get a method that gets every user in the channel, I'm not even sure what to do about that. That unfortunately might be the death of this bot if I can't do that. And I'm hoping, I might be a little alarmist right now. I'm hoping I'm not. But we'll find out next time. We'll let that sword of Damocles hang there for a couple days, or we're finding whether or not that's actually be an issue. Would be a shame though, but if that doesn't work, we'll I'm debating what to do next, and you guys can have a say in this too. We're not deciding just yet, obviously, but just so you know, next I'm probably either going to do some sort of phone app game or an actual game, like a computer game. I found one engine that I might be able to use to do games, computers, sorts of options. But I wouldn't mind taking a game from nothing, developing it the whole way through, from pen and paper or notepad to functioning game. She is having an old time on that ball and a track thing. What language will you use to make a game? That's going to depend on the engine I use. I think. Let me see if I can find this. It was called, the one I found at least. Let me make sure I've got the name right. The one I found is called ClickTeam Fusion 2.5. Now I have not played with this at all. Be completely honest. So I don't know entirely what language it is. It's probably similar to C and Java, but I don't know that for a fact. There is a free version of this. I believe it just puts Fusion 2.5 on everything if you don't buy it, which, if all you're doing is playing around with it and just seeing what it does, then that's fine. And that would be something I do off stream. But this is something that if it does look like I want to do this, then what I'll do is get the, I think there's a $100 version. Like here's the free version. Oh, it's like, oh, all right. Well, anyway, this is the one that I was thinking of. This is the first one that came to mind, and it was the first one I found. So it's possible that there's better options if people know them. Yeah, there you go. There's the standard one is $100. it has the benefit of only needing to display Fusion 2.5 that you made it with that when the game starts. It says it in here somewhere. Here we go. Commercial games and apps created with the standard version must include a created with Fusion logo. The developer version does not require the inclusion of our logo. The free version, I can find this real quick. Oh, this might only do HTML5 games. Okay, yeah, so this might only be HTML5 games, and it's going to put their logo on everything, which is fine. They deserve that. Some examples of things you can do here. I don't know whether or not this is the best option. It looks like a decent option, at least. A good place to start. But yeah, we'll play around with that. I'm hoping it works. If not, I'm hoping there's some other thing I can do that would allow me to get around that. Because there's got to be. There just has to be. These bots do that already. I just don't know how they do it. I don't know if it's possible using my library. But anyway. Good. I think that was a pretty decent stream. We solved some bugs. We got some new stuff done. And I'd say this is, again, in a pretty good spot. We'll play around with getting the user list and everything next time. So I have gotten at least one request to watch a game being programmed from nothing. I will continue thinking about that. If the bot doesn't work out, we'll probably go to that next. If the bot does work out, that'll be after the bot. That or a phone app of some kind. Because I do like the idea of doing that too. But anyway, thank you guys for coming today. Thank you for sticking around for 30 minutes past the regular quitting time. And thank you for your input, and thank you guys for helping too, because we did get to see a bug that we'll have to work through at some point. Next time we're going to work on the user lists, making sure we can get everybody in there, and if we can't, trying to find a way around it, because I really don't want to stop making this bot. It's been a lot of fun. But if we do, we do. You do what you can, and then you gotta move on. So, anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. Thank you for helping. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate everybody stopping by. Again, my name is Dagenham. I am DagenhamLol on Twitch.com. I am currently on the Clutter of Cats Twitch channel. I share that with my wife, Signa. We do have a Twitter account. We do have a Google account. I'm sorry, Google. Of course, we have a Google account. We have a YouTube account. And that's where all of our videos are saved. This one will be available there within the hour or two. And if you have any questions for me, by all means, you can send me a message on one of my accounts. And I hope to see you all again soon. I will attempt to stream on Friday, October 31st. I'll start around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending on how the night's going. I might go late again. I might go even later. We'll see how that goes. But thank you. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope to see you all again soon.